Just like Israel after October 7th, when they're ready for game time, it is game time. You're not allowed to hedge during game time. When they're about to start a war, everyone got to send out a tweet. Even the people who are supposed to be the good guys, they hit an Amnesty International like, hey, bro, you send the fucking tweet right now. All the worst people in the world are cheering for this. If you're on the fence, you don't know where you should stand on this. You have Ursula von der Leyen, not the Nazi Barbie from NATO. She's in love with this Barack Obama. So if you see all the bad guys in geopolitics cheering this, you know something went wrong. And another reason you know something is messed up about this is because the person who they gave the Nobel Peace Prize to is someone who supports Israel in their genocidal war against the Palestinians. How can you, in this era where the global majority turned against the Zionist regime, unlike I've never seen before, because their genocidal war, they've given a Nobel Peace Prize to someone who not only supported that, but also support genocidal war against their own people. I don't want to play this video, but this video here is she essentially making a pledge that if she won the election against Nicolas Maduro, she would have moved Venezuela embassy to Jerusalem to support Israel, just to highlight the kind of the crazy Zionist that she is. She also had a.
Can I say something about that? Because actually, Venezuela, since 2009, does not have an embassy in Israel. Venezuela cut off all ties with Israel in 2009. We are very, very proud of that. So there's not an Israeli embassy here. So that's actually like, what embassy is she going to move? Of course, if she had become president by some, I don't know, miracle, she would have reinstated the embassy. And indeed, she did say that she was going to put it in Jerusalem. And whoever the person who was interviewing her in Fox News, where she often appears, said, God bless you, or something along those lines, you know, like celebrating this. So, yeah, that is... that's who she is.
Do you guys think that's a coincidence that this Zionist puppet is someone who's propped up as a hero of the empire? Of course not. And this is Nicolas Maduro, who I covered this statement before. This is exactly why the fact that Venezuela doesn't support the Zionist regime, the same way they lie and smear about North Korea, because North Korea never accepted the state of Israel. They always accepted one state of Palestine. There's a reason why they lie to you about these people. Now, it has nothing to do about authoritarianism. They don't care about the people of Venezuela. If you believe any of that stuff, you are a child. You are a child if you believe the United States pick who they like and don't like based on democracy. It has nothing to do with that. The reason why they hate Nicolas Maduro, because Nicolas Maduro said that Jewish people should take up arms against the Netanyahu government. If you just want to know where he stood on the issue of Israel-Palestine. So one gave the endorsement of Benjamin Netanyahu to engage in mass extermination. The other was so against the state of Israel, he was calling for Jewish people to take up arms against the Jewish state. What? So doesn't that say everything? But moving on, because we got a limited amount of time. Here, Ursula von der Leyen. What does it say that all the worst people in the world are supporting this? This honors not only your courage and your conviction, but every voice that refuses to be silenced. That's why I'm glad, Sarah, you reminded us that no one in Venezuela knows who the fuck this is or supports her. Because if you want to watch CNN, I've seen a few. We don't have time to do a propaganda breakdown of it. But if you watch CNN, MSNBC, they're presenting to their liberal audience that the Venezuelan people love Maria Machado, and
I should add, people do know who she is. She just has no life, no political life right now here. So mostly every Venezuelan knows knows her. She's often called La Sayona, which is a reference to kind of like a phantom story, a phantom person who walks through the plains of Venezuela and disappears people. So every Venezuelan actually knows her. She just has no social base right now.
That's even worse. In the amount of lies told by Western media cannot even be calculated because it's the complete. You would think if you watch Morning Joe's segment on this, you would think that she's a rock star that couldn't walk outside of Venezuela without being mobbed by a legion of fans who are rooting for her to take power any moment now. But anyway, let me show you a few more quick receipts. Here's another traitor to their country. You guys see how this is like a holiday for traitors of their countries? This is Yulia Navalny. If you guys don't know who Yulia is, we covered her husband, Alexei Navalny, who is now dead, who was a paid agent of the CIA. And this has been confirmed. There was a video that was caught of Alexei Navalny's right-hand man soliciting tens of millions of dollars from British MI6. So can you imagine what the United States would do? I always got to use these examples to break through American mind. If you had Green Party member, some progressive Democrat or whatever, who was caught on video directly asking for hundreds of millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party to overthrow the country. Do you understand what the United States would do to that person? But this is the person who they cheer. They call Alexei Navalny a freedom fighter, even though they was working with a hostile foreign power to overthrow the will of his own people. And this is her. This is his wife praising her dear friend. Isn't it funny how it's such a small world and all these CIA assets they all know each other. They all close to each other. This is a holiday for CIA assets. Huge congratulations for the truly deserved victory. So once again, all the worst people are coming out and congratulating her. Here's another worst person, as we mentioned 1,000 times in the stream. He dropped a bomb every 15 to 20 minutes. Here's Barack Obama. Congratulations to new Nobel Peace Prize laureate, I believe, Maria Corina Machado, for a courageous struggle to bring democracy to Venezuela. Jesus Christ, man.
He's the man who declared Venezuela an unusual and extraordinary threat. I mean, maybe a threat because it is a reference, but certainly not a military, or it doesn't threaten any sovereignty of any country. Venezuela, I mean, we are just people who are trying to live with dignity and to have actually control over our economy and our society and our politics. That's who Obama is. Just crazy.
So
he's supposed to be a reference.
Yeah, I didn't mind him keep their hands off Venezuela, because that's what this is all about. They even called in Barack Obama to send a message to help launder this future war. You have Amnesty International, bro. There's so many people showing their whole ass. The International showed their ass during the Ukraine war when they put out their bullshit pro-NATO statement. Here's another example of this. This is an important recognition to Maria Corina Machado, but also the people of Venezuela who for years endured repression and persecution. Amnesty International, what are you doing? You mean the people who were sanctioned by the West, the sanctions that she cheered for? She cheered for United States. This is what I said to them. She literally cheered for a United States intervention, and she cheered on the United States bombing innocent Colombians and Venezuelans. But Amnesty International is coming out in support of her. You guys see how the ruling class, they called in all the favors. Just like Israel after October 7th, when they're ready for game time, it is game time. You're not allowed to hedge during game time. When they're about to start a war, everyone got to send out a tweet. Even the people who are supposed to be the good guys, they hit Amnesty International like, hey, bro, you send the fucking tweet right now. And that's what they did. You want to know who else is following the game plan? Zoran Mamdani. I mentioned this earlier, but he also puts out a statement. Why are you putting out a statement about Nicolas Maduro when you run in to be mayor of New York? It's because they get the call. Bernie Sanders got the call. Bernie Sanders, who had both his primaries rigged against him. A guy who had his presidential ambitions destroyed by the dictatorship of capital, then have the nerve to turn around and smear Nicolas Maduro as a vicious tyrant in order to get the approval of the liberal class, which we've seen Zoran Mamdani do the same thing. The last thing I'll share here. This is
Very
my last
sad.
thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sarah, if you want
No,
to.
no,
Any,
yeah, I'm just saying that it is actually sad to see it. This is, but it shouldn't be surprising to anybody either. I mean, the power of the liberal class in terms of controlling these folks who maybe at some point attempt to do something they actually do. It is very sad, and that's why it calls for, like, I said this before, but your enemy of those of you who are in the belly of the beast, and our enemy is the same. And I mean, we really have to understand this, because we have to fight together, we have to struggle together. I mean, they are threatening our lives, but they are also threatening your lives, the dominating class. I mean, and represented, of course, as everybody knows, by both Democrats and Republicans. They are basically one party with different,
absolutely.
like, colors or something, but they are actually the same enemy of the working class. Perhaps internally, in terms of the United States, there may be some very superficial differences, which actually on the day-to-day basis may actually be important. But in terms of the actual project, their project is a project. It's a project that is actually radically opposed to our interests as a class. What brings us together is actually that we are part of the working class. Like, we have a lot more in common,
Yeah.
Venezuelans and people from the United States, the working class, than things that separate us. But they tried to separate us, and I think that's actually, I think we are kind of like maybe coming to the end. And I actually want to say that, like, fight against them like we are fighting against them. And I know that you folks in the United States are doing, and that the struggle is actually difficult. And actually, I do feel privileged to be in Venezuela, even if we have all these destroyers and a nuclear submarine and airplanes and all this stuff right around the corner. I am happy to be here, even though I am concerned, of course, but I am happy and proud to be here, because we are building a new world. So the support of the Bolivarian Revolution is important, but also it is important from here to express our solidarity with the working class of the United States, because actually you have the enemy right at home. We have it, like, very close, like 20, 30 kilometers away from us. But not at home yet. We hope to not have the enemy at home, but it is very possible that we will have the enemy at home very soon. And I do hope that people will come out to the streets if the enemy, attacks directly Venezuelan ground. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It was fantastic to hear from you, Sarah. And this is what my primary concern is being the enemy from within the empire, opposing their agenda for never-ending war. Because not only is it a moral failing of this country, we don't benefit from the empire. I need Americans to understand. They siphon resources from our community. They send our sons and daughters to die just so we can privatize the oil in Venezuela. If I can't appeal to your morality, realize that this doesn't even benefit us. We need an international uprising against United States imperialism, and that's why I stand in solidarity with the Venezuelan people. And I will always tell our ruling class, hands off Venezuela. So it was great to have this conversation with you, Sarah. James, do you have any final thoughts? Anything that's on your mind before we begin to wrap up? I definitely gonna keep the stream to an hour. I've been doing a lot of super long streams. I'm gonna keep this only an hour because it was great to have. You joined very last minute, so it was great to have your analysis. Sarah. Make sure you guys follow and subscribe to Venezuela Analysis. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to my friends and my brother JB channel as well, who does great analysis of the class war and mutual aid organizing. I think JB is one of the best. So, JB, any final thoughts before you begin to wrap this stream up?
Yeah, free all oppressed people from around the world, including Venezuela, and stop the sanctions and let them be free.
Very well said.
Yeah. And we haven't talked much about sanctions, but sanctions kill tens of thousands of people. So we are facing a war with weapons, but we have been facing a war without bombs since 2015, which is when Obama released his decree. So yes, it's good that you bring on sanctions, this economic war against the people of Venezuela, which is ongoing.